Okay, we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of the agenda. I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second that.
Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Approval of the minutes. We'll start with the BOC minutes of April 24.
I'll make a motion to approve the April 24th meeting minutes.
I'll support. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. FPS.
Make a motion to approve the FPS meetings from May 5th, 2025.
Second it.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
And then minutes you want roll call?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, we don't need it on the roll call. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Claims and accounts.
Ms. Chairman, we need the closed session from April 24 as well.
Okay,
A motion for those minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the closed session minutes from April 24th.
I'll support. Any discussion? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? No. Passes. Claims and accounts.
I'll make a motion to approve the claims and accounts. The claims in the amount of $29,390.42. EFTs in the amount of $205,939.96. That's checks in the amount of $622,935.03 for a total of $858,265.41.
Any discussion? Roll call?
In a second.
Oh, I thought. Okay,
I
I'll
only
second
heard
that. I'm
LaRose.
sorry. I'll second that.
Okay. Roll call. Peltier,
Yes.
Hardee's,
Yes.
LaRose,
Yes.
DeVrent,
Yes.
Hamlin.
Yes. Limited public comment, agenda items only.
You want to go first?
I'm gonna wait till the next round, because mine's not agenda related.
This has to do with item 8B, new agenda item. McCullough is a public nonprofit entity because it receives public funds. Therefore, McCullough is open to all of the review, and I'll use the word supervision. And they must also follow the public act of open meetings, or Open Meetings Public Act. And also, they're also based on the model for representation. In other words, each of the center areas are allowed 2 people each. The representative from the center and also the representative at large. Those are the only positions that are addressed in their bylaws. At McCullough's last meeting, April 17th, 2025, they did not discuss any change in the bylaws. They did not recommend any individuals for appointment or approval by this body. And I was told that McCullough was recommending Don Edwards for a regional representative position. The regional representative position is not even mentioned in their bylaws. So how could McCullough recommend somebody to a position that does not exist? The other bottom line is that if when I left the meeting on the 17th after there was adjournment, my question is, did McCoa meet and also discuss not only the regional position, which they're now making up, but also the recommendation that Mr. Edwards fill that position? If they did that after the meeting was adjourned, that's a violation of the Open Meetings Act. And the other quick point is, and I'm glad Mr. Arbor is here, this gentleman has worked long and hard in regards to the Hiawatha Dam project. He's argued with the engineers and with Elmer's and with, not the judge yet, not Judge Black. I said yet, Charles. So as I said, I can't give him a raise, but I can give him a compliment. And thank you very much for all your efforts. Thank you. Thank you.
Public comment?
Mary, do I have to get up there or do I just yell at you? I'm Daryl Peterson. Some of you know me. I was a commissioner at one time, a few years ago. My biggest thing is I'm on the Hillman Fire Board, and I know things have been going around on the emergency manager stuff. It seems to me, being in politics for 50 years, that things are a little confusing. We've had two major disasters, if you want to call it, around here. One out there with the fire, Blue Lakes, and now this ice storm, which is going to cost a lot of money. If we had a full-time emergency manager here, I think, and I don't know the budget, but if we had a full-time person, I think that'd be a good idea, because remember, this storm took many counties. If you had a part-time here, part-time there, part-time everywhere, no, it won't work. We had, when I was commissioner, we had a part-time, Mr. Rupp. And he gave us a few things every once in a while, but we didn't have any major storms. You know, he did his work and he was part-time 20 hours. So I don't know what's being suggested on that. I know one person put in their name to April. I don't know if you related to the rest of the board, and maybe that person isn't interested.
He's not anymore.
He's not, okay. Well, then forget that. I won't even say anything on that. I tried to call him and there was no answer, so, I hope something, Mary, I know you're a busy person and the chairman had to take it over, you know, and you've got lots of headaches. And I know when I was chair, I don't know if I'd have the patience, to be honest with you. So if something could be done, I appreciate it. And also, all over the county, as a board member of PIEG, I'll say too, which is sort of related to that. We couldn't have had more cooperation from groups from all the towns. I mean, it was fabulous. And yes, it took a while, but the motto at PIEG was safety first. And it happened where no one got seriously hurt. No one died, you know, and so that's a compliment to all the volunteers, the linemen, the 1,400 workers that came into this area, you know, to help us out. And it's going to be a long time before this is all resolved. And you people have been involved with FEMA a little bit already. I know PING, we've had them around too. My time's up, so I quit, right?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Hold on.
It's better sitting back there than up there, by the way.
I bet it is.
You're right.
Public comment?
Yeah.
To shut up?
I can get it to shut off.
Oh, do I get another 3 minutes now?
No, you might.
Should be a reset.
Well, yeah, but it won't. I'll reset it. I'll shut it
Battery's
off.
out. Shut it off.
Good
It won't,
generation.
yeah, it's just like it's stuck here.
Oh. Shut it off. Okay, that doesn't work. We'll have to get an egg timer.
Yeah, yeah, I did, and I first I
Any
gotta get it to
further
shut off.
public comment? Hearing none, we'll go on to new business.
Shut off. It won't shut off.
Okay, let me see.
It won't shut off. Yep, I'm done with the timer.
Okay.
Thank you.
New business A, confirmation of jury board member Amy Sancrinetti. Okay, I said it wrong, sorry. We have the letter in front of us from the 26th Circuit Court, appointment to Montmorency County Jury Commission. I here recommend the reappointment of Amy, Democrat, to the Montmorency County Jury Board. Her term would expire on April 30th, 2031. I'd make the motion to accept this confirmation.
I'll second it.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, say no. And she has been reappointed. The next letter we have is to the McCoa Board, appointment approval of John Edwards, and this is to what Bill Houston was speaking of. And we had this letter as of April 17th. It says, and it came to Cheryl, I'm writing to inform you that John Edwards has been officially approved by the Montmorency County Commission on Aging Board of Directors to serve as a regional at-large board member. Please proceed with swearing him in for term beginning April 17th, 2025 and ending April 17th, 2028. And then she said, if we need further information or documentation, feel free to contact me at your convenience. Thank you for your assistance. I'll make the motion to approve. There's a second.
I'll second.
Okay, so is there any discussion on that? We've heard Bill's.
Seems to me that there's quite a few things that weren't followed the way they should be followed, as far as one, not even being a position for that to begin with, and it was just created. They had no public period for nominations. Apparently it was not discussed in the open board meeting. Quite a few things wrong with the process.
I guess my question is our oversight with McCoa. The lawyer basically kind of told us
We don't have.
that we're set with the bylaws they gave us, and we weren't at the meeting. I know Bill was. I'm not sure. where
I
Bill
haven't.
is.
I haven't received any updated bylaws. So as of stands, the attorney said that we are responsible for approving whoever they nominate. We either approve or disapprove. I do know that we got a letter from McCoa December or January requesting us to approve it, which is what spiked us to do the attorney questioning if we actually had authority to do it. And then Cheryl received this in her office after we had all that attorney conversation. So we don't really know because bylaws have not been changed or given to us. So as far as it knows, we have to approve it. I just don't know when this actually took place because I know we originally got a letter back in January. I think it was
Yeah,
January.
it's right here. I have a copy of it. January 8th, and at that point, it was a reappointment to McCoa Board as a trustee board member. So I don't know how what the difference is, regional at large, or the original one said trustee board member. I don't think
Yeah,
it even mentions a meeting, but
I'm confused by the position that is being requested because it's not noted as such in the bylaws. And as Mr. Houston had said, I think it's the Hillman at large that is the vacant position on the board. I don't know that this appointment qualifies for the position that is open, and maybe we can just ask Ms. Crawford to clarify that before deciding the appointment.
Michelle, Lloyd, any further discussion? Do we want to table that then and just clarify the position that it is in the bylaws? Is that what we're asking?
That'd be what I'm asking, that the position request, and maybe it's just a language thing on how it was worded in here.
That's what I'm
But
wondering.
just to be clear on what position is being requested and how that aligns with the
Bylaws.
vacancy and the bylaws.
I make a motion to table.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor, say yes.
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 Opposed, say no. We'll table it and we'll come back, but we'll just seek clarification on that.
Maybe want to table it until they have an actual meeting, if they haven't had one, to
Right,
Mhm.
and she probably can, yeah, we didn't give a timeline, so whenever she gets back with us on that, the answer, I would imagine, would be sufficient. Is that a problem with anybody waiting for her to get back with us? Invasive species grant, the request, Lake Avalon Property Association, the boat launch. And we have a letter from April 25 from Richard Wolf, president of the Lake Association. And this is a request that they put in annually in the invoice required by the DNR to operate the boat wash. The amount was $591. That is in our budget.
But then, do you want a motion?
I was gonna say,
Okay.
who wants the motion? I can make the motion. I'll make the motion to approve the invasive species grant request by Lake Avalon Property Association boat launch.
I'll second it.
My question was this, I see that there's budget, is this part of a grant, or is this just covered separately, that we just have a budget item?
No, it's part of a grant. So every year they have to request this money to be used for this boat wash. We have leftover millage money from the gypsy moths that we had a millage that changed that from gypsy moth to invasive species grants. And the board has to approve any use of that funding. There is funds left over in that 239 fund of 29,581.97. And so every year, Mr. Wolf has to actually request the money to pay for the boat wash, because once that money's gone, then they would be responsible for it themselves.
And this is in line with previous years.
Yep,
Yeah, that's-
it's actually less than previous years. Previous years, we used to approve them up to $2,000 because they used to do a test where they had like all the water testing and everything done. So we paid for that as well. So we had a grant that was up to 2,000 to cover the boat wash and that, but he's just requesting the boat wash this year.
Do you have a dollar amount you want made part of your motion? I know it looked like you said 591. I don't see, I guess, that anything in this letter, so is that just
It's
something?
in the back. Oh, It's a second, it was
All right.
his invoice.
$591 is the insurance.
Oh, it might be, okay, I see. Yep, I see it now, okay.
So can you please repeat the wording on the motion?
No. Motion by Hardy, seconded by Peltier, approving the invasive species grant request by Lake Avalon property owners for boat launch wash. The amount of $591.
I guess my only comment on that is the wording, it's approving in payment for the insurance premium. I don't know if you want to reword it to specify that or not. It sounds like it's approving a grant, but it's
Those
approving.
were Miss Hardy's words, so I guess you'll have.
I'm just throwing it out.
Yeah, but we would be issuing them a grant to cover that. So we're giving him a grant of $591 is basically what we're doing.
For the
pay for that.
insurance premium.
Yep.
That was my point, though. If you want to specify for the insurance premium.
Oh, so it's a
It's-
grant
We
is
don't have
from
to,
a grant.
we don't have to
be
change it.
More specific. Split theirs.
It's just nice to see, sometimes we forget the little details.
Any further questions? Roll call.
Hardee's,
Yes.
LaRose,
Yes.
DeBrent,
Yes.
Hamlin,
Yes.
Peltier.
Yes,
Motion passes. The DTRF currency counter. That was the quotation. We have a quote here. Treasurer. It is for a one Keeson, a discriminating currency counter. Okay, do you want me to speak on it? I'm waiting for a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't know if we needed to approve, but I'll second.
Yeah, so we can talk about it.
What are we approving? A purchase of a currency counter?
Yes. I don't need to be specific on it. So now we can discuss it. Yeah, do you want to give the background on it?
I gave you guys the same documentation that I presented at FPS. We kind of went back and forth over, I don't know, like 2-3 months about this. And a lot of it was just educating ourselves about the DTRF fund, how it could be expended, if it could or if it couldn't, and if it could, how would it be? April already advised us that there is a 700 line item, so that's good. That falls within the Uniform Chart of Accounts. And the Budgeting Act, and then I just sent you the supporting documentation that we did, or I did, just showing that, you know, I am the agent for the county in this DTRF fund, so I don't need authority by the board to make this purchase or to, it's not really a contract because there's no service contract with it, it's a one-time purchase. So I don't know really if I need your board action or if it's more just informational about how we got to this point. But if you have any questions about it, I'd be more than happy to answer them. It is going to be an expense out of the DTRF fund. I don't see that as just a free flowing expense fund. I want to just make that clear. However, on our Michigan State County Treasurer's website, a nearby county just had a counterfeit bill come through. Counterfeit bills are on the increase. It's just another sense of security for this county. My office not only does tax money, but I do all of the department's money coming in too. So while it's being paid out of the DTRF fund, it really is helping the whole county, all of the departments, and it's not coming out of the general fund, so.
And you've already said that it's a one-time.
It is, it's a one-time purchase. The documents that I sent with you guys too was just because Tanya down in Osceola had passed a counterfeit, it got a lot of subject on the listserv, and there was a lot of people saying who they suggested, and it happened to be Automated Business who I received a quote from. They come with high accolades with a lot of different services, but so if you have any questions, just let me know. I don't know if we need board action on it. You can, by all means, but it's kind of informational.
Well, we have a motion and a second.
We'll
We'll go from there.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
how much money are you looking to process through this machine?
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars?
Yes, sir. Some people come in and pay the last 2 years of taxes in one day, and that could be $3,000 for one person.
3,000.
For one individual on one day. There's some days where we have $10,000 just in cash. And that's just my office. We have district court, I mean, all of the offices bring all of their cash deposits to us every day. So a lot of cash is counted in my office.
You've already seen 10,000 or more come through your office in a single day.
Oh, absolutely. People are paying property taxes.
And they pay in cash.
Some people do. Smells like mold right out of the can in the back of their yard.
I don't know of a bank that hands out $10,000 in cash. Most
Okay.
banks won't let you have,
A bank is
5,000.
not handing this out, sir. These are residents that are coming into my office to pay
Yeah.
their tax bills.
yeah,
And then I'm taking it over to the bank.
most of them pay with a check.
Not all of them.
My experience with banks are you can't get more than $5,000 per day out of your account.
Well, maybe they get it multiple times.
I'm telling you, a lot of these people, it literally smells like mold. They've been saving it up in their basement all year long. I don't ask them where they get their cash. I don't care if they're paying their tax bills.
I'm okay with it.
Okay. Michelle?
I'm good.
Michelle? Roll call?
LaRose,
Yes.
DeBrent,
Yes.
Hamlin,
Yes.
Peltier,
No,
Ardis.
Yes.
A motion for a budget adjustment to that line to add to the same amount for that. So we can get her ordered for.
Okay, hold on. I just threw the amount in there. I'd make the motion for the line item. Is that the 700? Do you know?
516-000-700.
Sure.
Can you repeat it again, just to make sure?
516-000-700.000.
Okay,
So
so
the
then, do I have a second to the motion? I have a motion by Hardee's for a budget adjustment to line 516-000-700.00.
And I will second it.
Well, I don't think
She
I
didn't
didn't finish
the
it.
motion.
Okay, you
She was
got
gonna
it.
say
I'm
the
sorry,
amount, I
yes.
think.
Because I was just gonna say, I need to say the amount, but it's
$2,700 was the.
Okay. For the $2,700, do you want me to describe the item? Or no? No? Okay. For discriminating currency counter and thermal printer.
Unless you want it in there,
Just to kind of,
add for the currency counter if that's what you want.
yes.
Budget
Do we
adjustment.
have to do a budget adjustment? Because the 516 and the 519 are not part of the budget.
We're in a general appropriation.
Special fund.
In general appropriation, she said.
And if it's under $5,000, I don't think we need board approval.
There's no expenditure amount in there beforehand. So we'd have to add to it because you're pulling from the fund. No approval if you're moving money lines around. Like if you were taking 5,000 from one line and putting into another, you could just do it. But when you're adding from the fund balance, then the board approves it.
If the 516 isn't part of the budget.
Put it in the
For general appropriations.
It's because it's coming from the DTRF.
Yeah.
Roll call.
what are we voting on now?
We're just adding for the appropriations. Okay, reread it for me, Cheryl.
I have a motion by Hardy, seconded by DeBrey for a budget adjustment to line 516-000-700.00 for $2,700 for the currency counter.
From the DTRF to that fund. Would be what it is.
Roll call. DeBrent,
Yes.
Hamlin,
Yes.
Peltier,
No,
Ardis,
Yeah.
LaRose.
Yes.
Motion passes. Old business, A, total vehicle repair estimate review. Estimate.
I'd like to
We haven't made a motion yet. Do you want to discuss it? Because the total came in at $6,441.50. Is that correct? So that's over the 5,000.
Yes.
Or we can discuss it. You want to make a motion? Anybody want to make a motion on the table here? Okay, thank you.
Making a motion to prepare, I'm not sure I understand, so the estimate is the cost from Cummins to repair the vehicle.
Right, it is above 5,000 mark. Purchasing.
Okay, I'll make a motion to move forward with repairing the vehicle.
Second it.
Motion in a second. Now we can discuss it.
I have an issue with this. It was supposed to go in and get checked for safety issues for the airbags and the frame. That came back okay. And then I spoke with the owners and they were going to do an estimate and the parts were going to be in 2 weeks. And I go, what do you mean parts? We have not approved it yet. And talking back and forth between the owners and I, and emails going back and forth and conversations between the sheriff and them, it got approved to get fixed. The board has not approved it and it's over a $5,000 bill. According to our policies, on our policy here, purchasing policy. The purpose of these purchasing policies and procedures is to establish levels of authorization to purchase goods and services with a budget approved by the Board of Commissioners. To establish a clear process for those that manage many budgets of the county with integrity, prudence, and collaborative spirit in purchasing, which will ultimately result in the efficiency operation of the county departments and offices. In doing so, with cooperative purchasing here, which is under operational guidelines, number 6 in our policies, cooperative purchasing. The county and its constituent departments may not join in cooperative agreements with individuals or private businesses. Failure to follow policy. The county shall not be responsible for costs of goods and services ordered or purchased by any county official or employee. They're not obtained in accordance with this policy. Contracts negotiated outside of the policy will be considered invalid and non-binding. That was 14. Then we go to formal bidding. Purchases of $5,001 to $10,000 are subject to the formal bidding procedure and require a written quote from the bidder. However, if determined by a beneficial in given circumstances, the controller has the discretion to use a sealed bid process. My feeling in this is we've been doing all this, going through the board of, we want to get bids. We need to get approval first. And we've been waiting for the airbag and the frame to get fixed or to get checked.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Okay, we got that. Then we needed an estimate. It was never put down to where the board had approved to get it fixed. That's where we're talking about whose roles and what their duties and stuff are. So my thing is, it should have been taken to the board or at least brought to us to approve it first. And it was just taken upon and said to get fixed. I'm not saying that it doesn't need to get fixed or it shouldn't, but there's certain ways that we should go ahead and do things first. And it was totally sidestepped from us and not given to us to get approved in front of the board first. That is the issue I have, that it should have been put in front of the board to get approved and then get fixed, if that's what they had decided.
And I agree that this topic, this issue has been, I'll say mishandled, my opinion, obviously. I was just looking back as you were speaking, February 10th. February 10th is when we got our first appraisal, repair, the damage assessment from Irma.
Yeah.
And that was when it came in at $15,000, 537. We've been discussing this since February. And Commissioner Hamlin, previously in multiple meetings, we've had different discussions. One was one of your major concerns about us not farming it out, us not bringing it somewhere. You were very concerned about the efficiency in it getting back to the road. That was something you brought up. We talked
Correct.
about safety. It is May 8th. May 8th. That is, I'm not going to say unacceptable, but unacceptable. And again, I go back to the same conversation we had at the last meeting. If you don't trust me, just say that out loud. If you think I want to waste taxpayer money, say that out loud. This original bid was $15,537. We ended up taking a buyout of $14,640. Even, and God bless, with our mechanic who approximately, let's say $3,500. This repair still comes in at around, hypothetically, let's say $10,000. Over $4,000, almost $4,600, less than what we're getting for the payout. It's nearly $6,000 less than what the original estimated repair was.
I understand. My thing is, there are procedures and ways that we need to go ahead and do things, and that's what my issue is.
With all due respect, I am all about processes and procedures as long as that respect goes both ways. But I don't have the time, and this is the sheriff's fleet. This vehicle was not bought by general funds. Once again, it was bought by village funds. And I understand that, we can talk about how the insurance gets paid on the vehicle and go down whatever roads we want to go down. We are in a position where we have a 63,000-mile vehicle that has been sitting idle for no reason besides dialogue back and forth.
I never said it wasn't going to be fixed.
Because we did not trust our mechanic, because we wanted to get a second opinion. Said second opinion came in, no issue with airbags, no safety issues, which was a major concern. And I echoed that.
Mhm.
Yes, I said, move forward with this. I don't have time. It literally, and I appreciate your comment on, that it should be repaired. And I appreciate that, but it's done today. It's done. It's tough because as long as we have dialogue where it's like mutual respect to some extent, but when it's just I don't want to say a kick the can, but we have been doing this for over 20 years. The mechanic has been doing it for 35 plus years probably.
Mhm.
I mean, he is not going to do anything that's not in the best interest of this county, both in taxpayers and in officer safety. And it didn't matter what I said, and it didn't matter what he said. And then when you got the report from from Plowman's Collision, they said the same thing. Safety wise, this vehicle's 100%. It was a car dealer.
My thing is, we're gonna bring it back to the board, and once the board had said, okay, then the repairs would be
And
done.
if this was 2 months ago, I would agree with you 100%.
So because.
So it
it's
doesn't
2
matter
months-
what we do, what
No,
we
it's
say as
not
a
that it doesn't
board.
matter. It's that we continue to talk about something when I'm not gonna say the obvious answer is in front of us. Wait, February 10th. We've been talking about this since February.
I know, but my feelings right now is it doesn't matter what we say. If you don't get what you want, you're gonna go ahead and do it anyway.
And
that
my,
was-
my feeling is it doesn't matter what I say. You're gonna want to go sideways from whatever I say. That's where I'm feeling that dialogue. That's where I'm feeling that. And it's okay for us to disagree, but it's not just a me thing. I think others might share that, but it's not even when the mechanic says this is the right thing. The gentleman that's been doing this, and that didn't matter. And we waited and we waited and we brought it, you wanted us to bring it to a deal. It's Plowman's. Go get the bid, get it fixed. That's what I heard. Get the bid, get it fixed. It came in at $6,400 from Plowman's. I don't know, and I appreciate this discussion, and I think we need to have a longer one, specifically some of us. I've been asking since last year to meet with you, ma'am. Last year.
There's reasons why I don't.
Then talk
because-
to me about
yeah.
that.
That's enough now.
Well, I'm
You're arguing with, you're wrong
I'm sorry,
on
sir.
what you-
I don't.
on
I'm
how
not
you did
wrong.
it, on how you did it. You're not wrong on how it went.
But.
In my
I'm
opinion-
just- Well, with all due respect, I'm not.
If it's
I'd love
over
to
and
have a
above what the
conversation with
insurance
you.
pays out, then yes,
I
maybe
don't
we should have
have
both.
time now, I got things.
Okay.
But if it's below what the insurance payout is, I don't see why it should have to have board approval. It can be repaired for under what the insurance payout is.
That's not
That's
what we
fine.
have decided though,
Yeah.
as the board.
You let them get away with that one time,
Yeah,
and you're gonna
take
have it
whole damn
all the
town.
time. They're gonna run the county, and why do you need a board?
I have,
The
No,
original,
sir.
like,
No, sir.
back in February,
I'm
the
sorry.
original motion was
You're doing it by the rules.
just go and get it inspected, airbags and the frame to make sure it's safe because of our liability. And if that was good to go and the cost was less than the $15,000 we were going to receive, that it could be fixed. That was supposed to be done back in March, February or March. That was what the motion was. The only reason that change of conversation or all the conversation is because that getting it inspected for the airbag and the frame got pushed off and pushed off and pushed off and pushed off.
right.
And that's, but originally this could have been fixed back in February, March, because that was the original motion on the table for this car.
My thing is,
Could've and should've.
as a board should have at least brought it back to us and said, okay, this is the amount before we said, go ahead and fix it. That's my issue.
I understand what you're saying.
That's, I mean, understand. Yeah, it needed to be fixed and
If a previous motion said to go ahead and fix it, if it's within an amount, and that motion wasn't rescinded, that motion is, to me.
It was rescinded.
yes,
So it was rescinded.
Yeah, we ended up going back and rescinding that motion and putting a new motion.
I know we
New
did the
motion.
Plowman's thing, so to me, there's this whole confusion on the process and this decision happened and that decision happened, and I chalk it up as a total miscommunication, and we need as a board to be better about how we're handling situations going forward and make sure our decisions are clear, our path forward is clear, our motions are clear, so that if we, if it's within a certain amount, it's brought back, whatever, make sure it's following the policy. But to me, we're bantering over something, the vehicle's fixed. It was a little bit over the amount through the policy where maybe the sheriff should have come to the board prior to, but it's done. So can we chalk it up as, there was this miscommunication, let's learn from it, do better next time and move on.
And did I just hear you say it is done now?
Yes, ma'am.
yeah.
So, and you and I have had this discussion, Chad. Because you had said, because it was low miles, so when is it gonna be inspected?
We'll have to set that up with the Michigan State Police.
Okay, because once we know the title is clear, then what's your plan for the car? Because I know you and I had talked about, you had said that you have some over 200,000 that you were thinking of retiring.
We're gonna get the vehicle back on, and then we'll be looking at any rotation out. I mean, we did this, okay. No, I
Does it
don't, I
take-
can't give you a definitive answer.
I was
right
just
now.
gonna say, how long does it usually take to get them to check those?
I don't have that answer.
To do the inspection?
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Part of the problem is not having faith in our mechanic. Master mechanic state certified for 40 years experience, didn't want to take the word that was roadworthy. And he's probably better qualified than any of the places we're taking.
Well, I'm a new member, so I'm just playing it safe and I'm doing the safety thing. I mean, I never knew Bernie before. I mean, I'm new, so I'm going for safety and saying maybe it should go get checked. So that's what I did. That's what I thought.
Well,
As a
there,
commissioner, that's what I should do.
yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that because
So,
the best people.
That's
can
what I'm
make
sticking to.
Qualifications too, to know that whether he's qualified or not.
Well, I just know in healthcare that doctors screw up, everybody screws up, any professional
we
can
just
screw up, so it's
double
just, it's
check.
just good to double check, it doesn't hurt to double check. But at the point, we have a motion for the estimate review, but that's a moot point because it's already done. Because it's already been repaired. So do you want to rescind your motion?
Sure, I will rescind my motion.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
It's already been repaired. And so for clarity, we just need to know. We'll have that conversation when it gets done. You'll just bring it up back to us probably at the FPS.
Which question? I don't.
I'm just going back to what we had talked to about previously. You had said that there were vehicles that you were getting
Yeah.
ready to get just,
Yep,
once we know that everything is clear, and we've got a clear title.
Absolutely.
Reposting those for bid? Because when we had the leases, see someone leases got on the road, we were gonna post two
No.
vehicles out. So
We're not releasing any vehicles for bid at this moment. Once everything is back and we know we're 100%, then I'll bring it to FPS and we can have that discussion again.
You're not releasing any vehicles.
Not right now, no, sir.
You're down, what, 5 deputies?
Sure.
Well, we have
And you've
11.
got 5 vehicles sitting in the
No,
yard.
sir.
Where are the 5 vehicles that were assigned to those 5 deputies that left?
I'm not down 5 deputies.
You're
We
not
have-
down 5 deputies.
No, we have 11 deputies and we have, just looking at. the
What
deputy
conversation are we
Or-
looking to have right now?
cars. Right,
I mean, if we're talking
I'm
about
trying to
vehicles,
figure out why you need so many vehicles when you don't have enough people to
Come
drive
on,
them.
let's,
that's not. That discussion is,
That's, yeah, it's not on.
it's not on our agenda right now. We'll have
It'll
to
come
bring
up.
it, well, it will, because we'll have to discuss it when we start talking about, when he's talking about when we have the clearance on the. When we have that in our hand. So I don't think there's anything more to do with that, other than we'll have that discussion again about the fleet. When we know that it's been deemed roadworthy. Okay? Probate step increase. And this was an FPS, when this was brought up at, FPS. Because we were having other people that were kind of falling through the cracks, their anniversary dates were coming up. So what we had asked April to do was update the current policy. And all I see is this is all you changed was this.
that's really, I just took out the one part, but I'm like, there's no reason to change
Okay.
anything else.
And basically under 5, it says salary increases, employees are eligible for advancement through the steps of the compensation schedule on, this is where it changes it from annually, where we had it in January, which was causing the confusion, to on the anniversary date of the current position they hold and will occur automatically in the payroll system. And if we pass that today, then this would satisfy the request.
Yes.
So I would make a motion to update policy 6.2.
Just 6.2 was when we were reviewing, so just put employment classification.
Okay,
policy.
employment classifications as presented under 5.825 with the update. Changing eligibility to anniversary date automatically.
Sure, you should have a copy of the words that
Any discussion?
This table, I don't know exactly what it's trying to show you, but it looks like for the step increases occurring, I thought we were talking about in 2025, it's showing a total cost of $3,212.95. But there's ones that show 2026 in here. Can you clarify that?
they're not, there's no number for them because they wouldn't be eligible till 2026. That's why there's zeros at the end of it. Total increase is 0.
Oh, because they're new.
I see a new, it shows a new step. Okay, I just wasn't sure how that's, if it's tying into that cost, so, because it's showing steps, so I wasn't sure why they're in that table and why they're showing.
It's all the individuals that would be on the STEP program. And so they're not eligible till next year because they don't have a 1-year anniversary yet.
So it's the last two columns that we're supposed to be looking at, correct?
Yeah, so
Under
total cost that we did beforehand with the 12 people, what's left now because you've had so many, couple people or somebody's resigned. And the ones that we're adding with this policy change would be a total cost of $15,167.82. That being said, that's not all to the general fund because we have people in different funds in there. So that cost is not all to the general fund. So I broke it down by department so you would know which department and how much that cost would be. This is just for the fiscal 25 budget.
That was this adjustment sheet.
And then what is the third table showing?
That's the broken off by departments.
This one.
No, not that. On the very bottom of here,
Oh.
the departments are broken down, what it would cost in each department's
gotcha.
budget.
Yeah.
The total cost.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to relate the first two tables to the third one.
So the grand total increase that you see,
The 15,167.82.
okay, in the top two tables where every person, there's a total increase amount for each person. And their retirement costs.
Mhm.
And so those numbers are for per department are total down the bottom. So if there's 2 people in a department or 3 people in a department, their totals are all down in the bottom. So that's what the general fund, or I should say their department budget would change by, those increases.
Okay, the 15,167.82 should be the sum of the two above. It's just not exactly, but it's probably.
It is because you got the, if you look at the totals at the very bottom, you have the cost up for the increases. Then you have the retirement and then you have to add FICA on top of it. So that total cost on the first one's $11,954.86. And in the second table, same thing, you have the cost for the step increase, the retirement cost, and then you have to add the FICA cost as well, which makes it $3,212.95. The 11,000 and 3,000 add up together to $15,167.82.
Okay, it doesn't, but I get what you're saying and I'm fine with it. And then can we talk about how these are paid for again? So this, I'm not sure if this is supposed to tie to that. This was just given today, so can you explain this? Is this related to this or is this something else?
This will incorporate these changes. So for this pay step increases, it's just this page. It's going to be an additional $3,212.95 added to the personnel budget for the pay step increase change you're making today. You guys already made a motion a while ago for the pay step increases, which includes $11,954.86 because I had to figure it.
Yeah.
The new amount of $3,212.95 is what you're going to approve today with that pay scale change. So that's the total I have to update the budgets by, increase all the budgets
So
by.
these are just the proposed adjustments?
That's for the emergency manager talking about it.
Okay, so this is not applicable to this conversation right now?
No.
Okay.
Any other questions? Since this would involve an increase, we should probably do a roll call.
First up, before you do
Oh,
the
excuse
roll
me.
call, I'm sorry. Does this automatically, by the motion as it's worded, would be retroactive pay? Because it's going to anniversary date?
Yes.
Is it?
Who made the motion?
I didn't think. I don't know who made the motion, Cheryl.
Oh, let me look. It's
I
kind of
think you
buried
did
in
nice,
here.
yeah, I didn't
Yep,
think-
Hardee's and Hamlin to update the class employment classification and salary increases. Changing eligibility to anniversary date automatically. First up is Hamlin. Yes. Peltier,
Yes.
Hardee's,
Yes.
LaRose,
Yes.
DeVrent.
Yes.
Emergency manager update. Let's- Emergency management. Update we have, there was the sheets that were in front of you. We had the proposal that we sent through. And then the fire chiefs, we asked the people that were in the meeting to review it and to make sure that we didn't miss anything. And if you guys have gotten that paperwork, it was out on the table out on the side. And then on the back side is the job description. Some of the changes, I asked for one change, and then I'll let April speak to the rest of it, because she had to do some of it, was we did have the notation to make sure that the county will contract out for an IMT, like we did this time, in case of a large-scale disaster for assistance. And that is in the proposal.
What did you call it, Mary? A what? Contract
The
out to a what? IMT.
An IMT. That's,
IMT.
yes, that was the Oakland IMT that we had called in for this ice storm. Not for that specific one, but for an incident management team.
Want me to read the proposal?
Sure.
Okay, so, after our last board meeting, or at our last board meeting, it was asked to set up a meeting with our fire chiefs, township supervisors, other key players, DNR, state police, sheriff's office, 911 coordinator was there as well, EMS, I think I got that right, DNR, did I say DNR? Yes.
Yeah.
So we sat in last Thursday and we all discussed the emergency manager position and what we would like to see here for the county and what we'd like included in a proposal to go to the board for approval. And it was a great meeting, a lot of conversation. I wrote down the notes of everything that was mentioned, and then I sent it over to everybody again after the meeting to make sure nothing was missed. And if they wanted to add anything or update anything, and for the most part, I had quite a few people respond back and they were all good with it. There was a couple I hadn't heard from, but the general consensus was everybody was good with this proposal. And at the meeting, as long as it include all this, this is what that group would like to see. So this is the proposal in front of you. After a meeting to discuss the emergency manager position with our county fire chiefs, MSP, DNR, EMS, township supervisor, sheriff, and 911 coordinator, the following suggestions are for the Board of Commissioners to consider on May 8th, 2025 at their regular board meeting. A full-time emergency manager for the county, not to be shared with other counties. A salary to range from $55,000 to $60,000 based on experience and certifications. Higher at the lower rate if all credentials are not already attained. And then increase the salary as credentials are completed. Full-time benefits need to be included. Budget including travel, communications, training, and supply needs so certifications and job are not hindered to get office up to date. The EM will be required to work with local townships to set up IEPs for planned events. The EM will attend all regional meetings and secure other funding opportunities available within the state for the office and for certification. The EM will be required to get the EOC set up permanently with the supplies already on site. County to have mutual aid contracts with surrounding counties for resources. The county will contract out for an IMT in case of a large-scale disasters for assistance. They will utilize mutual aid box alarm system, MABUS, in state EOC for getting resources and use of IMTs when needed. The county to utilize RAVE alerting system while still under contract, and then look into using Code Red that has more functionality. Will be required to work alongside fire, EMS, police, and other agencies regularly to include during planning incidents and during day-to-day operations as needed. LEPC, LPT meetings, that's a correction on there, sorry, will be set up properly with all proper agencies in attendance. EMS is going to assist with the usage of RAVE alerts for the county. Possibility of seeking millage for funding the office and program in the future. Controller will work on budget figures to adjust for the remainder of fiscal 25 to fund the EM out of the general fund, along with other budget items in the office. Position to be posted immediately. A local panel will be set up to review the resumes and also assistance from the Oakland IMT team members to review the candidates before the interview process. And then you'll see an updated job description attached. And a note on here is this proposal and the attached job description were sent to the fire chiefs, EMS, MSP, DNR, township supervisors, sheriff, and 911 coordinator for the review. It is submitted on behalf of the group that met to discuss the emergency manager position. The budget figures attached are the costs associated with this position and budget adjustments within the general fund support this position for fiscal 25. It would need to be included in the fiscal 26 budget and moving forward. Now that would bring, so the job description is attached, and I would say give you guys some time to go through and read it. But on the budget side of it, I went through the personnel budget in the general fund, and we had some changes that, so our current general fund surplus budget is 82,215.59. There was some changes in open enrollment with insurance, and then some staff changes, people going part-time for the year that occurred. So it created a surplus in our personnel budgets in the general fund. Now, with the step increases that were just passed earlier this year, and just the one that just done now, even with those all included in there, there's a decrease of personal expenses in the budget of $34,635.14. This amount can be added to the EM budget for the remainder of fiscal 25 to cover the cost of a full-time emergency manager and any other budget items needed for this fiscal year. The EM position would be included in the budget planning moving forward after fiscal 2025. Departments 265, 371, and 682 that were in the step increases, they're not on this sheet because they are not general fund items. They are grant funds and the building department fund. And then 265, it's just a flat maximum that we pay for our janitor and maintenance person. So those didn't get adjusted. This figures do not include the sheriff's department at all because we have another conversation of inmate coordinator. So until that LOU is done with the union, I didn't touch any of the personnel costs in the sheriff's department until we can get that all figured out and put into the budget. So I left them out of this calculation. So with all the personnel changes, 34,635.14 can be used and put into the emergency manager budget along with the 45,000 that already sits there, and it will cover this position.
Along with how much that sits there?
The 45,000 that's already in their budget.
That was set aside, wasn't it, the 45?
That was budgeted for this year. That was what we were going to use to pay for the shared EM.
I appreciate all of the work that went in by you and the committee on preparing this. All this information was at the table when I got here today, so I'd like to make a motion to table to the next meeting or perhaps a special meeting, so as board members, we have time to digest this proposal and the budget impacts.
Table it.
This was sent on Friday.
No, it went to the fire chiefs on Friday.
Oh.
This hasn't gone, just the proposal, what I read was today. The job description attached is the same job description we were using with Alpena. It's just now just for Montmorency County. So it's the job
Right,
description we were already utilizing. And I would suggest taking time to maybe even now, just taking time to read the job description, but
Well, we can.
Is there a second to the motion, right?
I would prefer taking a break for 10-15 minutes and let people read it and review it. We're on recess till 20 after.
I turned around and saw you. You quit the work, but I hadn't formally met you yet, so I called you.
No, that's okay. Because I can't remember who it was just asking. "Oh, you wanna take it if you want?" And I'm like, I don't know, I just got here, man. So, but anyways, I wanna meet with you and just. No, no.
It's not you.
No, in fact, it was the auditors. They said, how come we haven't paid, made any payments?
Should have made one. Yes. And the second bill just came in, we got it. And I sent you in April.
And maybe it's.
So you'll have it.
No, I haven't. Because I understand the concept, I know what a special assessment is. Probably most people know all these phases and stuff, but other than that, I have a pile of paperwork that says. I own it. Okay. And maybe we can schedule a meeting just, so you can give me the ins and outs of what this is and
Well,
what I should expect.
I'm not 100% sure. I'm gonna do Roger Sweat, but he's gonna do.
Who's Roger?
He's the monitor. I don't trust him. Roger Sweat, yeah, I'll send you that.
That's like sweatpants?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's out of many. Out Grand Rapids, which is.
Engineer. Okay. What's your email?
I want you to drink.
Drain commissions. Okay. Yeah, then we can try and get it together. I can just. They're asking about payments and stuff like that, so I mean, I'm gonna go through some of the documentation and kind of gather it, but I'm pretty sure I'll.
I got no one in there.
Appreciate it. If you look like this, thank you.
I think it was last time.
Oh, did I get it? or
Yeah, I
did someone else?
think, no, I think last time you did.
So here's my question to you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, hold this is one. One, and I saw where they combined it.
So the bond was.
Played against us, Hillman team.
Okay.
And we were both short one player, so we only had 8 players. And this place was in the middle of Troy. And one won. It was fun. I got 3 grand, so I got 4 grand, 2 of them about the 17th.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
He's got his bed.
Okay.
He's ready, he's all ready, it's just so.
That's nice down right now.
All the time.
Okay. Yeah, there's been literally no activity. I don't have anything written.
What happened last time I came here, she said, "There's enough fuel." So they had to move them up. Oh.
No, I think that was underneath here.
So,
Was that
well,
one
the
you-
coach told us, no.
No, so in that account.
Yeah, that was one on the
On
north.
our books, it was combined.
Mike helped me.
So
We
that's
put
why
that
we
in.
have to have this.
Sons.
So the-
Yeah, Mike's been over helping me with that. Matter of fact, I showed my draft.
This was just a quick email.
He got to
Stuff
see
that
the
we had.
daddy and
Yeah.
But I'll print off.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
think I do it.
Yes. Those are being paid. Yeah.
Nice that.
This is on their website.
Falls,
That was their most needed was.
Mike said to me, I don't even want to see you.
Was it Bill?
I go.
Yeah, I heard that's what
No.
I only enjoy having you.
Yeah, well, I enjoy it.
Pellets. Was it pellets?
I know where you're at.
I don't know.
Very American name, but not.
Was it one of the team members?
Oh, I don't even know who yours was.
Carrie, it used to be Carrie. Was it Carrie's husband?
So that was
I think you would have to go on.
I'm wrong.
Might have been Carrie's husband.
I think the original one was.
That was. Yeah, and then.
You can prop that doorway open. That's the next thing closed. Open it inside. No, I mean, you can leave it all the way open, get some air blowing it.
Well, I turned the AC on, as long as this thing doesn't start to go. I think that's what it did.
I remember reading some of that.
Do we have another brochure? We have to purchase?
No, I'll have to look at that.
That looks like an old original.
We get a rain day next week. Yeah, they
Not in any rush.
they can't prepay. Once the bond is sold, prepay. So, they pay a prepayment, the bond got sold.
There was a big generator that said 2 chainsaws, and ended up there being 6 or 8 chainsaws, I can't remember.
So they can prepay.
But there was a lot.
It's a big number.
Yeah, I have the list. There were 55 cameras on it. Yeah.
Because other than that, the next one, we gotta get more.
Does it happen?
I don't know.
But yeah,
Is
but
that
they
tightened up or do we
pay
need
the
to
early,
write it out?
early pay.
No,
That's what I thought.
I think
Yeah, I saw.
Jade.
Calculation that she had done.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think Jake had done that with Amy and went over my list. And I think it was Jake and Amy had done the list of stuff from Wyland. Yeah, so can we get that list, you know?
I have it.
Okay,
Because Lloyd wants us to take with him.
And I didn't have.
I'll get you the rest.
Right, right. And Carrie, you call Carrie, she'll probably write you up something.
I texted you Carrie's number.
I think I brought it on here.
I turned it on.
It's just,
It was
oh my God, all of a
77.
sudden I can feel some cool air.
They'll have to pay attention. Yeah, I got one here.
That's good.
Does anybody need the remaining 5 minutes? The remaining 5 minutes? Do you need the remaining 5 minutes? We'll resume.
So, just to follow up, any comments that we received from the group have been put in there. And if you do agree with the proposal of going to a full-time EM and posting for it, you have to accept the proposal. You have to make a motion that we do this and get it posted for at least 2 weeks so we can start getting resumes in for everybody to review. I did call Lieutenant DeCastro on Tuesday about this proposal. He agrees it's the best option for the county to hire a full-time emergency manager. He's at a Homeland Security conference this week, so he couldn't be in attendance. He gave me permission to let the BOC know that although it was stated by a commissioner that he thinks sharing a firefighter as a contracted EM for the county is a viable option, that is not his opinion. His concern, as stated in other meetings, is that when an emergency occurs, the firefighter may have a difficult time being in the room of an EOC rather than out fighting the fire, although it's possible. It's not the best option for an emergency manager. He stated that he had a conversation with Doug Baum about this as well. He told me that if any commissioner has any questions on this, they can directly call him for confirmation. We also asked that question in our meeting with the fire chiefs, and that was the statement that they made as well, that they would rather be out doing the fire, so that they understood that understanding of why they would rather have a full-time emergency manager than somebody doing a dual role.
Agreed, and the reason that I had mentioned that in my memo to the board was as a cost consideration, because there could be potential savings. So that's why I continued to bring it up, because there wasn't really, in my mind, good closure on that, so.
I would make a motion to have a full-time emergency manager for Montmorency County alone, per this 5/8/25 proposal, and using the job description. It probably could be something, Cheryl, you could just add to the minutes.
Every time.
Like that.
So you said a date, Mary, so you're confusing me. You
I'm
said that-
I'm just saying what this proposal that was presented tonight. The Montmorency County Emergency Manager proposal that was in our packet, and the job description that's in our packet tonight
Okay.
from this 5/8/25
Consider,
meeting.
uh,
Yeah. So that would be the motion. We need a second.
I'll second.
Discussion.
I have a couple of comments. So I sent a memo to the board with some considerations for the emergency manager. And it looks like a lot of consideration was taken to try to accommodate the comments from fire chiefs, EMS and such. But there's a couple of my comments that I don't see incorporated, so I just want to bring those up. One of them is, I know it says a local panel will be set up to review resumes, but I don't know what that means, so I'd like to define that a little bit better in this proposal. After seeing how many people are involved in the process, my recommendation was including at a minimum, and I'm sure there'll be more, but a representative of the fire chiefs, an EMS representative, the sheriff, Lieutenant Anthony Yutt, and then a representative of the road commission, and then the county board chair. And when it says local panel, I don't know what that means, and I would hate to see where the panel is as previously proposed, where it's the chair and the controller, and then one EMS representative. I think that needs to be a bigger group based on how many people were involved.
But that was based on us going to Alpena. That wasn't us based on doing our own time. That was when we were going to Alpena.
Agreed, but I don't know what local panel means and who's determining what that is. So I'm just saying what I think that should be, and that I'd like it to be more explicit in what that means, so.
So this is just a motion to approve the posting, but I think after we got resumes, it would be a good idea at the next board meeting to lay out how the hiring process would go. So this would get this posted for more than 2 weeks, because obviously it won't go in the paper this week because it's the end of the week. Then you have 2 weeks to get it out there. By the time we have our next meeting, you could have the decision, figure out who wants to be on the panel to review it. Now, in our meeting with the fire chiefs and everything, it was that we would basically just send out all of our resumes received among that group to review and have commentary on them and pick them. And then you would have a smaller selection for an actual interview process. And then you'd have to pick a panel for that.
Well, in our hiring process, we have to do the hiring. The board has to do the hiring. So that process will have to delve into the best practice, because people can participate in questions, but at the end of the day, we have to do the selection. And we have to be able to review all of the, and it would be a closed session, we would have to be able to review all of the applications with the caveat that we probably will get input from those fire chief, EMS, police, you know.
So I'd like that to be just captured then in the minutes, that that's our process. We're going to next time define the steps for the hiring process, just to be clear. My second comment was that I had put in the memo was having the emergency manager report as a direct hire to the board, and it doesn't seem like that's the case. It sounds like it's going to be potentially under the controller. It's not really clear to me how it's worded. A big reason for that was just in the training we had with Lieutenant DeCastro, you know, the EM providing these reports to the board and coming to the board to give updates. And to me, the best situation that makes sense to me, and with the chair being the acting EM in the absence, I would like to see that the emergency manager is a direct hire to the board and not a hire under the controller's office. Maybe that was the intent. It just wasn't clear to me because of the way the job description commented on both the chair and the controller having supervisory control in a sense. So that just seems confusing to me. That was another thing I put in my EM considerations. So.
And you know, you put that in a memo form, but the audience doesn't have access to that. So that kind of limits the understanding of the audience as well, because they don't know what you had sent to us.
Well, I was just trying to explain, and I can read that section. So in terms of the position, I recommend that the EM is hired as a contract employee under the supervision of the Board of Commissioners, and the job description should reflect this. This aligns with our training discussion with Lieutenant DeCastro, in which the EM would provide periodic reports and updates to the board. I also recommend that we look for ways to commit funds to this position for a minimum of 2 years now, with future consideration during the next budget cycle for a long-term commitment. Lieutenant DeCastro mentioned in a board training session that it can easily take up to 2 years for an EM to obtain the proper training, get up to speed, and implement a sufficient program. It would be a disservice to the public to fund this position for 1 year, only to find that it is cut from the budget in subsequent years. Additionally, the job description should be reviewed, updated, and reposted for a reasonable amount of time, ideally a minimum of 2 weeks, to allow qualified candidates to apply, which was mentioned that it would be 2 weeks.
Well, and I'm not thinking anybody's thinking of doing this on a year-to-year basis. Was that anybody? I mean, once we've always had an EM position, this would be making it full-time.
It has been part-time, so I guess my thought is just committing to part-time. But spinning back to the supervisory role, I think the board should have supervisory role over the emergency manager.
Well, and it says the chairman of the County of Montmorency Board of Commissioners, which would be, if it were this year, would be myself, in coordination with the controller, shall supervise the activities of the emergency management director. Since we are not here on a day-to-day basis, I kind of find it awkward that it would be us for calling for that kind of purpose. For the management side of it, I find that a little awkward. And then, of course, it's with the advice and consent of the board, the director shall formulate, review, and approve policy and operational guidelines for this office as may be necessary. There's so much routine day-to-day.
I understand the day-to-day, but typically, like when I have job descriptions in my employment, we have, it's very clearly defined who the supervisor is of that position, and I don't see that here. So I guess that's.
And I see it as it's a joint you know, the board and
So
You know,
if
the
there's an
controller on the
issue, a
day-to-day.
performance issue, then how is that handled?
it would come to us, I would imagine. It would come to us.
But it's not clear to me that that's the case. Like, if it's a joint thing, then is that mean the controller is supervising? So if there's a performance issue, does the controller have the ability to, you know, terminate
Well,
this person, or
we
does the
have-
board terminate this person?
Well, there's not, I don't even think performance is even, you know,
This wouldn't be any different than like our building inspector or equalization director, where they on a day-to-day basis keep me informed, or if their office is closed, or if there's something happening in the field or something like that, they tell me. But when it comes to decisions about their employment or anything that, it would come to the board for approval. So it's no different than any other appointed position in that sense. That's what our building department, our building inspector is, our equalization director.
I understand it. All I'm saying is I don't see how that's mentioned in the job description, or maybe it doesn't need to be. I just wanted to be clear for my own understanding that that's the case. So if that's the case, I'm fine with that. I just didn't see anywhere where it said that. That's all I got. Thank you.
I don't know what you need to do to add that. Is it, can we accept it as is with, or do we need to change the language somehow to reflect what the
well, I'm content with.
actual job?
I'm fine
I'm
with the way it
content.
is.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm content with my motion because it's just, you know, standard.
Will that be added in later, the clarification of what the hierarchy is in the?
This job
Is
description
there an
is,
issue with the controller?
No.
Clarification,
I just-
because
I-
that's how things get confused, like the
Well, then,
red cop car thing.
This
So,
is-
we'll,
many
we'll
people
deal with
involved.
that later, but I'm just saying,
This
Um,
is a substantial position that I think one person having the authority to just fire because there's a little bit of conflict, whatever the case, I do have concern about that. There has been terminations in the past. I just want to make sure that the board is in control of that situation.
Well, the board
So-
is responsible.
the only
That's fine.
termination was done by a
That's all I'm
board,
trying to-
a full
Okay.
board.
Okay.
It's not, nothing that I did. It was a full board.
I didn't
that
say
did
it
it.
was anything you
Okay.
did.
But
All
the-
I'm saying is that
the,
I want the board to be.
The
in
job
control of those
description
decisions.
for the emergency manager is blanket across the counties, like it's the same information, you usually get it. It came from the EMPG grants that we use, we utilize it. And because the chairman is the backup emergency manager, that's why they put in there the chairman to work with this person, the director, because they would be their, technically, if that person was gone, the chairman's the backup. So that's why they'd be working with the chair and then myself, the day-to-day, because I do all the grant reporting. But when it comes to hiring and firing, it's going to be the full
the
board.
full, yeah, the full work.
It's just a
So
question.
it'd still be a backup.
It's not an attack on a department or a person, it's a question.
I just have a question. Included in the motion is to pass this proposal. And I noticed that the dollar amount was $55,000 to $60,000. And I just don't know where the board got that from when it's been $45,000 for,
That was when we discussed, that's when we discussed the,
because that's a lot of money.
We talked about that in the meeting, and that's what the wage range was when we were doing the shared EM with Alpena County, was 55 to 60. We were paying 45,000 Alpena County to cover the wages, benefits, and part of the budget shared between the two of us. So the 55 to 60 was what was discussed when we did Alpena shared, and then we also discussed it in our meeting with the fire chief supervisors and MSP.
and so at this point, this was what April had talked about when she had reviewed the changes that's on this sheet. That we have had the adjustments of $34,635.14, which added to the 45 that we had committed, will cover this.
Oh, I understand that it can be covered this year, and I know that those numbers are based off of current employees, but you know, employees can start to take insurance and not take insurance, and that number is not guaranteed every year. I just, $55,000 to $60,000 is I'm not undermining this position. I spent 10 years in emergency services myself. I can't stress how important this position is. But 55 to 60 is more than what most of our tenured people here are making.
Well, at 55 to 60,
Elected officials.
our hope is that we will have someone qualified that comes in. Because in fact, we did have, just with a brief discussion with Alpina, there were people that applied that have full qualifications. So the hope is to offer a wage where we're gonna get somebody.
And the conversation in the meeting with emergency services, you're not gonna get somebody from the emergency services world to take it for $45,000 because they make more than that with overtime. So if you want somebody that's gonna come and dedicate it to this job and then get the resources to come into it, you need to pay them what the job's worth. And that was that was part of a big topic of the conversation.
I know that resumes were supposed to go through Alpina, but has anybody submitted a resume to you?
Directly, no.
Well, we
I
had one back in
take that
December.
back.
We had one in December.
When we first started talking about this, I told you there was a gentleman from Hillman that had set his
Yeah.
resume, and I told him he needed to apply to Alpina, but he has since said no.
Yeah.
Where do you send your resume to?
It's gonna be posted.
Okay, they don't know yet how.
It'll be
posted on
emailed
the
into our office so that we can share it with the group of firefighters and everybody to review. So it'll be coming into my office.
Deal breaker with me, but I would have preferred to see something like 45,000 to the 60,000, depending on experience, being negotiable.
Like I said, that was a conversation we had. They didn't think 45,000 is what you're gonna get. If you were offering 55 to 60, the chances are you're probably gonna get somebody who has the qualifications and doesn't have to get all the trainings at that rate. And that's what they were looking for.
The top number of 60,000, just lower the bottom number, if you're not getting good qualified people that you might.
Well, that's always up to the board too. If you get candidates in and you don't think any are qualified, you have every right to say you're gonna offer at a lower amount. You change your mind. You don't have to stick at that amount if you don't get the qualified candidates you're looking for. The point is to try to get the qualified candidates.
Yeah, it's just want to be able to negotiate lower if there aren't anybody with the full qualifications we're looking for.
Right, because we want them to be able to have everything within 2 years, if they aren't already closer than that. We hope they're closer than that.
I understand that fully. I just as a department or as an office, I was given a wage scale. And if I was offered to hire employees at $20 to $30 an hour, I probably would have gotten a licensed accountant. So, well, or an accounting degree. I'm just saying, I'm not undermining this position at all, but looking at all of the wages countywide right now, I just think that's a lot of money for one full-time position.
Weren't we looking at 45 for a part-time though at one point?
Well, that would be.
But that was combination.
That was buy-in.
Yeah, combination, you're right.
Any further discussion?
Would they be eligible for step increases like every other county employee? That could-
No, their salary, they would not. They would just get the COLA every year.
Over a period of 10 years, that could end up being a pretty considerable salary for somebody.
Just one more question. In that proposal, I can't remember what April said. Was that a contract position?
There is a full-time emergency manager for the county.
But it's not contracted.
No. Is there any other discussion?
No.
Any other discussion?
Was it contracted in the past? Or is it always just a direct employee?
We did a contract one time, the rest has always been just a direct hire.
Would a
The
contract?
problem with contract is that you don't have the authority over,
Their time.
like you would, an employee. That was a conversation we've had at other options in our meetings, is that as a contract, you can give them the scope, but you don't have day-to-day oversight in a sense, because they're not your employee.
Not required to work core hours like you would within a.
Yeah.
Direct hire.
Yep.
They can adjust them over. Any other questions? Roll call, Cheryl?
Peltier,
Yes.
Hardees,
Yes.
LaRose,
Yes.
Brent,
Yes.
Hamlin.
Yes.
Motion passes. Coordinator. Pardon? That's the grievance settlement agreement.
Yes, so we had closed session and we've had conversations for a while now about the inmate coordinator position at the sheriff's department. And after a lengthy conversation, we have an LOU with the union to allow us to include a part-time inmate coordinator into the contract and remove the jail lieutenant position from the supervisory contract. So I'll read the settlement agreement that we came up with. This grievance settlement agreement, hereinafter agreement, is entered into by and among Montmorency County and the Montmorency County Sheriff, employers, and the Police Officers Labor Council Union. Whereas the union represents a non-supervisory bargaining unit and a supervisory bargaining unit of employees working for the employers. Whereas the collective bargaining agreement covering supervisory employees contains a recognition clause that includes the corrections lieutenant position. Whereas the employers eliminated the corrections lieutenant position and distributed its duties to non-supervisory bargaining unit members. Whereas the union filed grievance numbers P 2024-36 and 2024-37, contesting the distribution of duties, and the employers denied the grievances. Whereas the parties wish to amicably resolve this matter by assigning duties formerly performed by the corrections lieutenant position to a newly established part-time inmate coordinator position within the non-supervisory bargaining unit. Now therefore, for good and valuable consideration, the sufficiency of which is fully acknowledged, the parties hereby agree as follows. The corrections lieutenant position is removed from the collective bargaining agreement covering supervisory employees. The description of the bargaining unit in Article 1, recognition, Section 1.1 shall be amended as follows. All sergeants, road lieutenant, and dispatcher supervisor of the Montmorency County Sheriff's Office, excluding sheriff, undersheriff, executives, and other supervisors and all other county employees. 2, a part-time inmate coordinator position shall be added to the collective bargaining agreement covering non-supervisory employees. The description of the bargaining unit in Article 1, recognition, Section 1.1 shall be amended as follows. All deputy sheriffs, clerk dispatchers, and part-time inmate coordinators of the Montmorency County Sheriff's Office, excluding sheriff, undersheriff, executives, other supervisors, and all other county employees. Number 3, Article 51, part-time temporary, Section 51.11 of the non-supervisory bargaining unit shall be amended as follows. With the exception of part-time inmate coordinators, part-time temporary employees will not be members of the bargaining unit and shall be used as replacements only on a temporary basis when regular full-time employees are off work on leave. Number 4, the union withdraws grievance numbers 2024-36 and P 2024-37 with prejudice. 5, wages for the part-time inmate coordinator position shall equal the clerk/dispatcher's 4-year rate of pay each year of the CBA. Additionally, the part-time inmate coordinator position shall earn paid sick leave in accordance with the Montmorency County Earned Sick Leave Policy as it relates to ESTA. All other economic benefits spelled out in the CBA shall not apply to this position. Number 6, this resolution shall not be precedent setting for future matters between the parties. And number 7, this agreement is the full agreement of the parties on the subject matter grievances and supersedes and replaces any oral or written agreements to the contrary. This agreement cannot be modified except in a written agreement signed by the parties. In witness thereof, the parties by their duly authorized agents have hereunder executed this agreement. So if you guys are okay with this, then I need a motion to approve the settlement agreement. And then I will send it out for signature by myself, the sheriff, and then it'll go to the Labor Council and they'll send it back for the approved. Sure, we have a copy.
They do. I'd make the motion to accept the grievance settlement agreement.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I was just curious who drafted this. Was it Labor Council or just?
PLC and Labor Council.
Okay, and did our attorney review it?
Yes.
And then did the sheriff get a copy to review as well?
The union did send you.
And I thought they did.
Okay, because you're signing it.
Correct.
Sheriff Brown, did you have any concerns with the language?
No, it seems appropriate to everything we've discussed.
So the sheriff is okay with it. I don't have any issues.
Michelle,
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, but
roll call?
Hardee's,
Yes.
LaRose,
Yes.
DeBrent,
Yes.
Amlin,
Yes.
Peltier.
yes,
County Department reports, controller.
Right. A lot of things still going on with the ice storm. I'm still working on. I have some updates since I sent you guys this report on Friday that occurred over the weekend and through the week. The debris disposal sites are still open, and I this morning talked with Todd at the Road Commission, and he's on board to continue the debris sites and would like them to close as of June 2nd. They will need to start crushing gravel then. So if we continue through that date, I have arranged workers at all the sites until then if this gets approved. So I do have people to monitor them still, and it would cost us an additional $5,400 to come out of our emergency fund that we're using to get reimbursed with FEMA. So if you guys are okay with us continuing that, I would need a motion to approve to go through June, to close them as of June 1st.
Right, because we were closing technically this weekend.
Maybe, yeah, Sunday, June 1st would be the last day to collect debris, and then.
How busy are they?
They're still pretty busy, and just to let you know, I have, the chippers are at the Buttle site. They have chipped a lot, and they are gonna be hauling that away, and then they'll move to our next ones. FEMA was here last week.
Sorry, I didn't realize you were going to the next bullet. On the first bullet, just to clarify, all the sites are remaining open through June 1st.
Yes, all three.
Because I had some concern from Albert Township that residents were being told that it's closed starting Monday. And
Yeah,
so-
technically it is if we don't say we're gonna approve to go forward.
Right, okay, I just wanted to clarify that that is not the case for that site.
If we approve it, it's okay.
Correct, got it.
I guess we can stop there and just get, if you guys are okay with it, do a motion that first, and then I can move on.
I'd make a
on my
motion
things.
to extend it through June 2nd, or
I'll
to,
second.
any discussion?
I think it's needed.
Roll call, please, Sheriff.
Okay, hold on a second, let me catch up. Peltier, you seconded?
Yes,
And now I keep hearing the first or the second. What's your date? that
They will
you're-
be closed as of June 2nd. The last day would be June 1st.
Okay, it's closed on June 2nd. If there's no further discussion, roll call?
LaRose,
Yes.
DeBrent,
Yes.
Hamlin,
Yes.
Peltier,
yes,
Hardee's.
Yes. Motion passes.
Okay, so like I said, I met with FEMA and Penny Berger from MSP this last week. And we went over all of the expenses incurred by the county, by the fire departments, by road commission, heavily on the road commission, because they are our biggest hitter that is driving us to get hopefully federal declaration. So we spent a lot of time there. I set it up with Todd and FEMA to go around and actually go and see some of the places that still need to be cleaned up. So FEMA, she contacted me Monday night or Tuesday night. She called me and she said that they have everything they needed. She was closing Montmorency County and to stay in by until we get our word if we're gonna get any kind of declaration. It sounds like just with the road commission and all the work that they've had to do, that kind of puts us in that setting to get the public assistance. So I'm hopeful that that'll give us that reimbursement. We have talked about the chippers.
Andrew.
And I talked about the meeting with fire chiefs already and everything, so I'll move on. Andrew from the Oakland IMT would like to set up an after action plan just to go over the initial incident information and to talk about with all the parties that were involved. On the May 16th, he would be coming up here to meet at 1 o'clock. I don't know if we can do it in here, or, I mean, I think we could do it in here just fine, but it might be better. I can ask Corey if we can use the Tri-Township Fire Hall. That's something they suggested might be a better meeting space. It's not an open meeting, like in the sense where we have to have a clerk of minutes. It's just a place for everybody to come and have a conversation. There's no decisions. It's just having a conversation with the after action. Andrew asked me to invite, ask for a representative from the following: BOC, the Tri-Township Fire, Albert Fire, Vienna Fire, Hillman Fire, Tri-Township EMS, Sheriff's Office, MSP Post, local DNR, McCoa, Road Commission. He'd like Carrie Hunter from MDOT since she was here, shelter reps, the Roscommon EM, Vanessa Warner, Thunder Bay Community Health Services. We had Amy Myers, who was our liaison, Carrie from DHHS, and then he also would like Lieutenant Chuck Barker here because he was during the incident for us. So I will send out invitations to everybody to set that up, and I will get the place we're gonna do it confirmed. Auditors were on site. They've completed everything on site, but they are still working remotely on a few things. Something that just came up that I need to let you know about is during the storm, we've noticed there's a few different things that keep coming. We had the flooding at the sheriff's department, but also Donna has an issue with the battery backup at the dispatch center. It keeps surging, keeps going out. They have to keep resetting it. It's messed up. The storm messed up pretty bad. I have submitted it to MIRMA, but I have not gotten approval back from them yet. But this has become an emergent, like it's messing up their call systems. So I told Donna had already asked the electrician to order its $15,000 battery backup. And I told her that with this being an emergent issue, go ahead and do that. So either insurance will reimburse us, or we were gonna have to pay it out of our emergency fund as well for this, because it was a storm-related issue. That being said, I am gonna ask Myrna to keep our claim open till August, because there might be more things that come down the road from the storm that are gonna pop up. So just letting you know that Donna did put the order in for that.
Can I jump in real quick, April?
Yeah.
'Cause, and like April said, and I don't know if the courthouse has experienced anything, but it really did a number on a lot of electronics. I know like the schools have been having issues with phone systems, so I know there was that discussion about leaving that claim open just to see if, because it's weird, things are just kind of starting to pop up now, so. Hopefully nothing else happens, but the battery backup is significant. We've lost power. We lost power 3 times in 5 days. And our radio, the battery backup system, the electrician said I can't explain it. It just is one of those gremlins from.
We're gonna have more too with them updating the wires, so we're gonna be in and out a lot more.
That's all.
That would be good that it would be open for a while.
Is there a surge protector of any kind?
Oh, it's on its own tail. Yeah, I mean, we have an excellent electrician that takes really good care of us, and he's the one that kind of recommended if you can leave it open, leave it open, so.
Does the electrician up to date, because they
Chris
update
Hardy's.
it quite often, they come up with new technology.
Chris Hardy's.
Can I just real quick? When the power went out, you had a brownout situation. So the surge protection is for high voltage. So low voltage is just as detrimental to the electronics as high voltage. So when that brownout situation happened, that's where the circuitry became cooked in a lot of the electronic stuff.
And I know.
So you can get low voltage protection. It's quite pricey.
And I know that the ambulance department too is having problem with surging because the power was coming on and off, and there were quite a few surges that was messing with their generator.
Yep.
So do we need to make a motion?
Our purchasing policy allows us to go to an emergency situation, and this is an emergency
Okay, good.
situation, so we're gonna get it ordered.
So I think everybody.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Concerned about.
The only other thing I have that I would just like approval for is because we talked about the step increases, and we've talked about the EM position, and we have the sheriff's inmate coordinator I just need an approval from the board to make that adjustment for the personnel costs. Just to cover, I'll just say that I can make those adjustments. They're within the budget, no changing bottom line, so technically I can move them in there, but I just want to make it record that we are adjusting the budget to make this happen, so I can move that money to the EM department.
I make the motion for you to adjust those budgets accordingly.
I'll second.
Any
What was
discussion?
that again? The 5,000 for the cleanup employees or sites?
I don't need that one, I just need the 34,000 for all the other ones, because that one's coming out of our emergency reimbursement stuff.
So can you clarify, can you just clarify what the adjustment is?
It's gonna be among all the personnel costs to put the money into the emergency management department.
And that was that table
34,
that we got today?
34,635.14.
That's on this table.
And then there's gonna be additional changes with the sheriff's department, just to make that inmate coordinator position. There's gonna have to, yeah, move his budget around to accommodate that one. But you have time on that, so I just want to make sure no one making any adjustments to the personnel expenses.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Brett,
Yes.
Hamlin,
Yes.
Peltier,
Yes,
Hardee's,
Yes.
LaRose.
Yes.
And then one more budget adjustment, sorry, but last year we had in the budget, when the resolution was passed to, or not resolution, motion was made to pay the retirement health funding vehicle deposit of $734,500. It was done in 24. The funding vehicle is now completed and the money is being deposited in there, but it's not occurring until 2025. So I just need approval to move that budget adjustment. Instead of having it be in 2024, it's going to be out of 2025. And that's coming out of the 516-000-717 line.
I make that motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Roll call, Cheryl.
I need to finish up this motion. Hold on. So I got the time. What was your line item number again?
516-000-717.000.
When you're done, Cheryl, can you please repeat the motion?
Motion by Hardee's, seconded by Peltier to move the $734,000 to 516-000-717.000.
734,500.
734,500.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Where is the 734,500 sitting at right now? Is that something that should be in here?
It's in the surplus. It's coming out of the 516, which is in the surplus proceeds. So that's why it's coming out of the 516 line. You could put DTR surplus.
Hamlin,
Yes.
Peltier,
Yes,
Hardee's,
Yes.
LaRose,
No.
Brent.
Yes.
Motion passes. Anything else?
No, that's it for me.
Cheryl?
Try and use podium just so I can stand up for a minute. Don't lean on it. I'm not going to. All right, so I put together the county clerk's annual report for 2024. You might ask, what does a county clerk do? I have included the job descriptions of the staff towards the back of the report. I also have included the statutory duties of the county clerk. And this is not an all-inclusive list, but the main sections under the statutory duties of the county clerk are to clerk the circuit court and the family division. We are also involved in the administrative activities of the court, including the case filings, summoning juries, inputting and tracking of all court-ordered costs and bonds, preparing annual and quarterly reports to the state, clerking all procedures for court, driver's license abstracting, criminal history reporting, as well as show causing defendants who are behind in their payments. The clerk is also the clerk to the Board of Commissioners. I maintain all the records of the board proceedings, resolutions, and decisions, and produce minutes. I am also the clerk to the jury board, which includes an annual preparation of the potential jurors in the county from the driving record provided by the Secretary of State. We're actually getting ready to do that right now. We have approximately 2,000 questionnaires that will be going out here probably within the next month. Those will be the jurors that will be used for the circuit, district, and probate courts if they need any jurors throughout the year. And input of those that are qualified have to be put into our court system. I am also the keeper of the vital records. Your vital records are your birth, death, and marriage licenses. And we also provide various certified copies for the constituents, people that need it to do their filings, et cetera, or change social security numbers, register it at the deeds office, et cetera. We also do the DBAs, doing business as, or co-partnerships. We register and file the names of the businesses within the county. Those are good for 5 years. We also take care of notaries, making sure that you come in and you apply with the county clerk's office. We give them an oath. They have to have a bond, and then they continue their paperwork on to the state to get their notary certificates. We also offer filing of the DD-214s or your military discharge papers. Those are done for free. They're complimentary. Anybody that would like to have a copy on file is more than welcome to do that. Basically, we have an option. We scan it now. They get back their original, and then if they need it, or maybe one of their family members down the road may need it for veterans benefits, et cetera. It's just kind of a place to keep it, because sometimes you lose track of things at home and maybe not sure where it's at, so we offer that. One of the big duties of the office is the chief election official for the county. I oversee the elections in conjunction with your township clerks in compliance with election laws, which includes training election inspectors every 2 years. I am the receiving official for the candidate filings for the county offices, school board members, township, and village. I maintain the local campaign finance paperwork. I prepare the ballot for printing by entering all information into our qualified voter file system. I order the ballots and various supplies for the election. I also prepare the election notices that go in the paper and conduct election audits after the elections are done. I serve on the County Election Commission, which basically we proof and approve all the ballots. That's made up of your treasurer, probate judge, and clerk. We also review any recall petitions that may come into the county. I am the clerk to the Board of Canvassers. I take and prepare the minutes of the Board of Canvass. I prepare their various documents and reports once the canvass is completed. So everybody thinks once you're done voting day's here and everybody's done, and we now have to, it's all in the paperwork after that. So it takes us some time I produce various reports and documents that the canvass certify the numbers. And those then all get submitted to the Bureau of Elections, our final numbers. I also prepare and complete election certificates for the candidates. So if you've been elected, you would have gotten those in the mail shortly after your election in November. I am also one of the financial officers of the county to preserve and file all accounts acted upon by the board. Book records and accounts of the board are deposited with the clerk, and keep a book of claims. Some other just various items. I'm responsible for several budgets, not only the clerk's budget, but election budget, the jury budget, law library, and the concealed pistol permit budget. And then I just kind of had a thing there at the bottom. The county clerk must be well versed in the following with the courts, adoption procedures, bench book and legal forms, adoption confidential intermediary process, the juvenile procedure bench book, Michigan court rules, Michigan court administrative guide, Michigan election laws, candidate and ballot forms and instructions, campaign finance, vital statistics online system, death and birth, FOIA, Freedom of Information Requests, Open Meetings Acts, and Robert Rules. Yeehaw, that's the big part. So how did we do this year? So this year, I just kind of put together a summary of what our court caseload looked like for the year. We had a total of 205 new case filings, and we closed 219. Front of the court, they have approximately 433 cases that they continuously collect support on. So even though you might have somebody that maybe gets divorced in the county, and that file maybe takes 6 months with children, and you open your case, you close your case with that final judgment, we still have all those post-judgment things that occur if there are children involved on the cases. So just because we say a case is closed doesn't necessarily mean that it's done and that we don't have filings that go into the case files. We had 84 court days. That included 7 days of trial, which we actually had 3 trials. So 84 court days were between all the courts, circuit court, juvenile court, extra hearing days where we might have had testimony taken on various things as well as juvenile. We actually, even though we had only 3 trials held for those 7 days, there were actually 15 scheduled, 12 of which got canceled. So that's a typical thing. You'll have people that are requesting jury trials. They'll get scheduled, they'll get put on the calendar. Typically, we've already sent notice out to people to say, hey, you need to show up as a juror for these particular dates. And then we have them call the Friday before, whatever the day before the trial, just to make sure if they still need to be there. So there's still work being done, even though you might have canceled those trials. I put together just a listing of what we collected in our court case collections. We have, one of the things that happens is once a defendant has been sentenced and they're assessed court costs, part of the job also is doing follow-up letters, whether for payment and or show causes. So there were approximately 92 court cost letters sent last year to people, as well as 27 show causes were done for non-payment. We collected $24,102.75 in court costs. Overall with that, plus our circuit court costs of $23,940, we collected in court costs $48,043.50. We were able to collect restitution in the amount of $18,025.39 for victims. For $2,592, and we deposited into general fund $42,684.98. We did receive our state equity payment from the state, so the state does provide some monies to the county to run the courts, but it's all 3 courts, and that was $44,300, which we know barely probably covers not much. As far as vital records, birth, death, marriage, divorces, and paternity actions, there were 238 processed. We had 16 notaries last year. We did do 3 of those military discharge DD-214 filings. We sent out 62 doing business as notices. So every 5 years, as your
your DBA expires, we do send out notices to those people to see if they want to renew. We did have 54 filed last year and 3 were dissolved, so a total of 119. Between the just filed and notices sent. We had 212 CPLs, concealed pistol licenses are also done in our office. 57 were new, 155 were renewals. That generated $5,512 for the county's general, for the CPL fund. We had 130 renewed online, and that generated another $4,680. Total overall, 342 CPLs were processed last year. Let's see, we had some for last year. Our big thing was the elections. We had 3 elections last year, which we also had our new proposal for the early voting took place last year. So all 3 of those elections, for any state or federal election, you also have to have 9 days of early voting. So for those, we did have that. So I initially met with all the clerks, township clerks in September of 2023, so that way we could implement that moving forward at the February presidential. The clerks planned for 1 central location. The agreement was drafted, paperwork was prepared by me for the state grant for the equipment and supplies to run the 9 days of early voting. Those items did get shipped in and were received and tested in January, as well as a new laptop. I did submit the grant paperwork for the equipment that wasn't already paid for directly by the state, and we received a grant reimbursement of $3,581.46. Let's see, I also held in conjunction with the Rust clerk and the early voting coordinator. We held 2 separate early voting poll worker training classes prior to the February election. And then we had 2 regular election worker trainings prior to the August primary. And that was about 200 plus in attendance. I coordinate with Alpena County and we kind of do our training together. So we did hold a hand recount this last year after the August 2024 election, which took an entire day. I've got just kind of synopsis on that. The early voting wage grant reimbursement for the township. So as part of the early voting package, the state also offered some grant reimbursement on the wages for the workers for those. So we compiled for the August and November. In August, the grant reimbursement was $4,231.13, and for November, we received $4,856. And that money just basically filtered through us because I was the one that had to submit how much the estimated grant was going to be, and then that got passed on to the townships because the township pays their workers directly. So we were just a pass-through, but we did have to complete the paperwork, get all the information, and then complete the paperwork to the state. I just put down what conference and training I attended for the year. That's there if anybody just wants to look at it. And I just kind of put down a synopsis of what training topics we did have. I did have 11 FOIA requests last year, 9 of which were election related. We hosted a 3-day law class for the 5th graders last year. That was kind of fun. Hopefully we'll be able to do that again at some point. And we conducted a 30-day time study for the state court administrator's office, but I haven't seen the results of that yet. Things that I'd love so far for January, we completed in January, so far for 2025, we completed in January, the November election audit. February, I completed the 4-year school contracts for special elections. I did have a couple of meetings. We completed our annual caseload report for the courts. And we had a 3-day state court audit, and I'm waiting on that report to come in. We have a May election that we just completed. Actually, the canvas completed this morning on that. And things I'd like to see done. We were talking about your emergency planning, I guess, and looking at how that all plays out. I'd like to see whoever ends up getting into that position, maybe discussing with them some emergency plannings for elections. If something were to happen during election time, what would we do? And then as well as maybe some more maybe with the courts, kind of look at maybe something, get a little bit more of, what would happen had we have been, been another week or two down the road without power here. How would that look and how is the court going to continue to operate? So that might be just something to kind of look at down the ways. And then I just had some other issue. We're looking, or not issues, but we're still continue back scanning whole files. We're cross training. Because I do have some newer staff in the office. And yeah, that's kind of about where I'm at. I don't know, I know it's a lot, but
Cheryl, do you have a copy we can put in our office?
I'll give you an extra one here. It's this one.
This blind sunglasses, being commissioner.
Might be able to put that in your budget. I don't know if anybody has any questions or anything, but if you do, I'd be feel free to answer whatever you need, or if you think of something later on, be more than happy to take your phone calls or come in and see me. Thank you. Let me wake up my. Did you want to speak, Charlie?
I do, if that's okay.
Yes, because we can go to your department. Okay. Yeah, just.
He's drain commissioner. You can throw him in there.
Yeah, well, for those of you who don't know me, my name's Charles Robert. I'm Montmorency County Road Commissioner, and I'm the acting drain commissioner. On behalf of the road commission, I want to thank you for the extra equipment that we received during the ice storm. It helped out tremendous, so much appreciated. I hope that's been relayed. Okay, on the drain commission. Lake Hiawatha Special Assessment District, we've completed phase one. I sent a report in last summer stating that phase one was completed. And in November, I wrote a grant to facilitate for phase two. We were denied that grant.
What?
Yeah, for the third time. So, yeah, we've applied 3 times. So as of right now, I do not plan on moving forward with phase two, and we will continue to monitor the middle structure. And it's doing its job right now. There doesn't appear to be any damage. Unless the county board directs me to move on that, I am not going to move on phase two.
Just curious, what was the grant programs that you were applying?
It was through Eagle. They have a dam, yeah, risk reduction grant program.
When the engineers studied those 3 dams, the middle one is supposed to be the next one.
Correct.
Okay. How bad did they say that dam was? Did it have a few years of good use left, or is it critical like the bottom one was?
So it is a high risk, low hazard dam. It could fail at any time, but it is low hazard. Being that the spillway on Moose Lake has been replaced, it's designed for the 500-year flood. It should be able to absorb that if it were to fail. And there's 2 places that could potentially be damaged. So that's why it's a low hazard, but it is a high risk of failure.
Did we had any issues since the ice storm?
Not with the
That
dam.
area?
Can you reapply for those grants next year?
Yeah, if the state of Michigan offers money for that in through Eagle. There's probably other grants that could be available, but the Eagle dam, the dam risk reduction program. The governor's been applying money each year to that. It could dry up. So it's not a guaranteed program.
How much were you applying for?
It was almost 500,000.
Was that enough to replace that?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, that would have took care of the middle structure. Then we still have the Second Street structure, which is a control structure. It holds back around 10 inches of water, maybe 12 inches of water. And even though it's old and it looks rough, it is a very solid structure yet. And it does need to be replaced in the future, but that one is very minimal on the list.
So it must be the best.
It was the best of the 3. Yes. That had been the Second Street that you drive, that's the one you drive across.
Yeah.
Mr. Arnold, that can be repaired or replaced.
What's that?
Second one can be repaired or.
No, it needs to be replaced. There's no sense putting money into the repair of it. I mean, prior to the county taking over those 3 structures, the residents had done a repair on the middle structure that is, it's holding well.
That's the one with the cement sandbags.
Yep.
Yeah.
When Judge Black signed the order, did he also mandate a timeline?
I do not believe a timeline was mandated, but the lake level has to be maintained. So if the structure were to fail, it will have to go and be replaced.
What I'm asking is, do we have to notify Judge Black?
No,
No,
We're good to go?
the order just states you have to maintain the lake level.
We also have some concern, Mr. Houston took me out there after the repair to the bottom dam, and it looks like it's way back real.
and there is a sag in it, and I've been working with Spicer to rectify that problem.
Okay,
We've been monitoring it, by, basically every 3 months going out and running the transit. We did not want to bring fill in during the winter, well, the
Right.
pavement was soft and moist, any equipment driving across would cause more soil liquefaction, cause more of a sinking. So I will be going out this weekend to do another measurement, and as long as numbers stay the same, then it'll require some fill being brought in and so some more bank restoration. Now, the problem with that is Eagle and I are not in agreement on who has to pay for that. So we'll continue to work it out.
seemed like it was a,
There was a
when
paid,
it was made.
there was a paid engineer on site to monitor the progress of that, and
Keep us informed.
I'm hoping it doesn't have to go to legal action. I'm hoping we can work it out.
Right.
So, yes,
Thank you.
yep, thank you.
That's right.
David, maybe one for us? I have one, substance use disorder oversight. Missions reports. Missions were down 12.9% from the same period of last year. Or likely due to individuals losing Medicaid and Healthy Michigan after the assumption of determinations, particularly for individuals on Healthy Michigan, 20% decline. The data showed an outpatient was highest level of treatment emissions at 43%. The alcohol was the most prevalent primary substance at 59%. All opiates, including heroin, were the second most prevalent primarily substance at 18%. Methamphetamines was the third most prevalent primary substance at 16%. It was noted that stimulants use has risen sharply throughout the 21 county region.
Yeah, my first one was Thunder Bay Transportation. We, right after the treasurer's report, the, audit was presented. Everything went through real well on that. We still have a little bit of a problem with our staff. We got some holes we need, like, to get hired and filled up. Building has been approved by MDOT for the reconstruction of the roof. Now we're getting bids on the, from different companies to do that work. And we also have taken, our employees lost 3 days of work because of the ice storm. With all the power lines down and everything, it was better to err on the side of safety. We voted to give them a 3-day bonus pay to make up for the 3 days that they lost pay through no fault of their own. So they've been sending letters and thank you cards in that was very appreciated by them. NEPSCA had a meeting, but I was sick, and rather than go down to the meeting and contaminate everybody, I decided to stay home. And then today at 3 o'clock, I have my mental health board. Once again, we had our audit report. That went super good. With good employees and department heads, even the auditor said that it was a joy to do this one. Everything went just quickly, it was really good. We're doing our strategic planning, for 2026. We went through our job descriptions and we have a summer conference coming up, starting June 9th, 2025. It's a 3-day on the June 9th and June 11th. This conference is just an awesome conference. You get so much knowledge. There's so many classes. You can go to every one of the classes being taught by a college professor. They're super. And I intend on going to that one. But the last I want to bring up is we have a fundraiser, 2K, 5K, 10K, run, walk, crawl, whatever you want to do. How we doing the crawl? But that's coming up on Saturday, May 17th. Starts at 8:30. And anybody who would like to go, come on down. It's a great time to be had by all. That's all I got. Thank you.
And I had SBS and I was present at the EM and meeting that we had with the fire and the services and the supervisors. For those reports, so.
I did a written report this time because I had a few things I wanted to cover. Committee meetings, NEMCOG, there was no meeting since the last county board meeting. There was an email sent out regarding a public forum to be held by the Michigan Public Service Commission on May 21st, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Ellison Place, 150 Dale Driving Gaylord. It's in person only. The purpose is to review the response to the ice storm and get input from customers impacted by the storm. The FPS, the minutes were in the board packet. We discussed the request for step increase by Ms. Gordon and then a need to replace damaged port equipment and then concerns regarding the process to obtain office supplies. The landfill meeting, we covered normal business operations. No concerns were brought to the attention of the board. The next item I wanted to highlight was information provided to the board. The county policy states that the county controller shall immediately distribute copies of the proposed agenda together with copies of reports, supporting information and documentation that relates to the matters of business on the agenda. Commissioners shall be entitled to receive such materials not later than close of business on the Friday preceding the next regular meeting. There have been multiple occasions where I received information just a short period before the board meeting. A couple of examples include one, the revised policy book. The board discussion was on March 20th. There was some discussion leading up to this meeting. A new reorganized policy book about 100 pages in length was provided to the board about 1 p.m. on March 18th for review prior to the March 20th meeting. The revised policy book highlighted some changes, but not all, making it difficult to know what was changed without doing a side-by-side comparison to the old policy. I appreciate the effort that went into creating this document, but 2 days to review something of this nature is not enough time. The board didn't make it through the policy book at the meeting and will continue discussions at future meetings, which I'm grateful for, as it gives us more time as a board to take into consideration input from others and develop a set of policies that allows us to serve our constituents as effectively as possible. Another example is retiree healthcare benefits. The board decision was on March 27th at a 9 o'clock meeting. Proposal information was sent to the board just before 5 p.m. On March 24th. The motion for this decision was worded as an addendum. The original resolution to which the addendum was referring to was adopted in 2024 and provided to the board just before 3 p.m. on March 26th. The original resolution included a MERS participation agreement that references a contribution addendum. As a new board member, this was not something I'd seen before. An addendum that is referenced in the MERS agreement was not provided. There was no prior notice given to the board that a MERS representative would be presenting at the meeting and taking questions of the board. In these examples, decisions were made in short order by the board despite the limited time to review the information and develop appropriate questions. My hope is that this does not continue to be the normal mode of operation. I respectfully request that the information provided to the board follows the written policy. Information that cannot be provided in time to meet the deadlines should be included as discussion only items on the agenda and or postponed to the following board meeting. My next item is structure of board agendas. The board and FPS agendas, in my opinion, should be restructured to provide more transparency to the public. They currently do not distinguish between discussion-only items and board action items. Including this distinction will make it easier for the public, elected officials, department heads, and all staff to understand the decisions being considered by this board. Furthermore, the language used for agenda items occasionally is vague. For example, going back to the retiree healthcare agenda topic on March 27th, the agenda item was stated as retiree health insurance. It did not indicate that the MERS representative was giving a presentation, nor that the board would be deciding on this item. For the sake of improving transparency, I will continue to recommend a restructuring of the board agendas as part of upcoming policy discussions. The next item I'd like to mention is requests for agenda items. I have recently requested board agenda items which have been denied. This is another policy that I hope can be reviewed and discussed as part of the board's upcoming policy review. One example is the step wage increase. I requested that this be added to the April 24th agenda after an email request was sent by Ms. Gordon. My request was denied. Another request was made by Ms. Gordon to add this to the May 8th meeting, and this request was granted. Retiree healthcare contracts. There are signed contracts between the county and 2 employees that contradict the retiree healthcare decision approved by the board at the March 27th board meeting. These contracts were not explicitly discussed at the March 27th meeting. Therefore, I requested an agenda item to attempt to provide closure on this issue, but the request was denied. I would like to go on record stating that I believe this is a potential liability to the county to leave this unaddressed. My last item is additional policy updates. Recently, I have been made aware of inefficiencies in county operations that could potentially be addressed through the board's upcoming policy review. A couple of examples include, number one, the policy of having one credit card became an issue during the ice storm. If the cardholder was absent at a time when the card was needed, which presented a challenge in meeting the needs of the county. This emphasizes the benefit to having more than one credit card as presented in past policy discussions. And the second, a recent request for office supplies of pens and paper by an elected official ended up involving 3 staff members from the controller's office before it was resolved. The requester was initially told to make an appointment to access the vault in order to obtain supplies. This process seems inefficient and a hindrance to the day-to-day operations of the department. The board will soon continue review and discussion of the draft policy document. These couple of examples demonstrate the benefit of taking into account input from the elected officials and department heads so that we can streamline operations in a manner that allows us to better serve our communities. Respectfully request that these and other issues be discussed and addressed during the upcoming policy review. Thank you.
The landfill. More of the same, tonnage was down a little bit this last period, and the lagoons are at a good level, and the injection pump is no issues with that. They're going good there. Nothing really to report on that. But everything's going good. Yeah.
Public comment? I haven't. It's really kind of just like the treasurer's report, like it's really little. So, sorry. Auditors, they were here. April, are they still planning on being here at the end of May, the next meeting?
As long as we have all of our OPEB and audits
Oh, yeah,
from the other
right.
place, then it'll be in.
Okay,
It's
so
waiting on that.
just to give the board the board a heads up, the auditors are gonna try and make it to the next meeting because she really doesn't want to come to a 6 o'clock meeting, and I don't blame her. But really, I just want to talk because I attended a land bank meeting yesterday. Yesterday was Wednesday. And also just to give you guys a heads up, there was multiple people at the meeting, multiple counties. That is still in an infant phase, talking about this regional, they're not calling it a regional land bank authority because that's not allowed. So it's a regional land bank consortium. And it's not just a land bank, it would be land bank and brownfield together. So still all of the counties are like, we're like interested in more information, but no one wants to pull the trigger yet. So I brought it up that we're a couple steps ahead already because we are at FGU already. So some of the counties that are involved aren't. They also open it up that some counties that already have their own land banks are able to get involved with this consortium. So there's just so many things out on the table, and just me being new to my position and the land banks. I asked if the other counties and other representatives kind of felt the same way, if NEMCOG, a representative from NEMCOG and a representative from the State Land Bank could attend either virtually or in person to our Board of Commissioner meetings. So I know, I'm not even gonna attempt May, we'll probably shoot for the beginning of June. So I'm gonna invite them to be on our agenda, and they're just gonna come in and kind of explain to you what a land bank is. Then they offered it. No one knows how it would look if it went forward, but just a synopsis of it. A brownfield is the avenue for where the money comes in. The land bank is the avenue for the property. They gave us two different kind of options. One of them was that you would create a county land bank and then transfer it to the regional land bank. And then there was create a land bank, and then it's just administered regionally. So I told him my biggest concern was, it only just off of the small conversation I had residents coming up to me. I know that there's a huge concern, and one of it is mine too, of when the county owns these properties, we don't want to let go of our ownership, right? It's ours. It's the county's. And I don't want to give up that ownership. However, the potential for grant money, especially through the brownfield, is huge for this community and this county. But my office cannot administer it, just like all of the other regions. That's why they're talking about this consortium. So I kind of offered up, well, can you maybe throw in a plan in there where we as counties keep our land? We agree as to what it is going to be used for, what it could be used for, what we want to put out there. And then you just administer it over there because you're the professionals, you get a cut and we get a cut. So there's a lot of things thrown around on the table, but before we even get into those details, I want to know further more about land banks and brownfields, and I want you guys to also. So I've invited them.
Is that gonna be a presentation by the same people we went to the conference?
Jim might be there. Yeah, he was one that presented at the one that you
Yeah.
were at, and he was on via Zoom yesterday. Him or one of his representatives will be here, and then Doug Baum or one of his from NEMCOG will also be here, just to give you guys some information. So that when I come to you, if I come to you with a proposal, you know kind of what we're getting into. They did talk about, right now they're looking at, if everybody were to say yes yesterday, as in the county treasurers, they're looking at a two-phase process. So it would have to go to the board, do a resolution to form a land bank, then there's interlocal agreements and intergovernmental agreements. That's all phase one. And then phase two would be strategic planning, creating the brownfield, developing the TIFs and stuff like that. So even if I signed on to agreement yesterday, we're still looking at a year and a half before anything was up and moving. So anyways, just a quick update on that. There is a Michigan Land Bank Authority, I think is what they are. There's a meeting, it's the 22nd though, and that's our board meeting. It's all day. So I might skip out in a couple of weeks from this and go to that, or try and do half and half. So you all are invited, but obviously we have board meetings. But I will just keep you guys in the loop. And I'm gonna invite him to one of our board meetings, so it'll definitely be a presentation.
I'd rather see him here in person.
Yeah, this is an additional meeting, the one on the 22nd. But yeah, me too. I agree.
Yeah.
I asked him to bring some paperwork and some presentations for you guys.
He's got a good staff.
Yeah, yep. So anyways, just that update. The ready public comment.
Just real quick, my name is Doug Smith. I want to personally thank the road commission. You guys did a wonderful job this winter in grading the roads this spring and everything. Keep it up. One of the safety things I've seen throughout Montmorency, there's a lot of outside people coming in doing chipping, and I see probably only 50% of them have cones up or lights on. And it's a hazard situation. So if there's some way that they can get notified that if they're gonna do work on residences or on the sides of the roads, they need to, comply or whatever. The other issue I should say that I might be bringing up hopefully it doesn't have to happen. But with spring and summer coming along, there's a lot of people coming up from downstate that use East and West Twin Lake and all the other lakes around. If there's a chance that there's forest fires, the first thing we're gonna call for is the water bombers. So can there be a notice or something put out as a public awareness to alert the people that if they do see a plane flying around and trying to land on the lake, the planes have the right of way. And they need to kind of open up and move out of the way so that there's not a catastrophe. Because a float plane did hit a boat in Vancouver last year. So anyway, that's about all I have to say. And I imagine there's a little bit more that I want to say, but time. So thank you.
And I couldn't hear what you were saying about the debris, you know, how long they could keep the fill open. I've had a lot of people inquire to see if you can extend it.
It's extended, the last day will be June 1st. For now, that's what the date we're going to. The road commission needs to get in there and start crushing gravel, so that's why they put a deadline on June 2nd to have it closed.
And so it's gonna be extended though just a little bit longer. If not, then maybe you'll look at it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that was it.
I do. I would like a copy of the written report or committee report, if that's what it's called, that Commissioner LaRose put out. Because I do have a couple of issues with some of the things said. Because just earlier in this meeting, it was excused that the sheriff didn't follow policy for getting a car purchased. And I got a memo from you Monday after FPS to be included in this meeting. And it seems like all these things that are put in here are things that are put on me on the last minute to get done. And I try to produce it to you for the board meeting, but I would like to see that report so I can actually answer all those questions because I didn't have an opportunity to. There were statements, but I would like to have the written report so I can answer some of those. Please.
The sheriff's conversation has to do with my report.
Because there's a lot of accusations in those comments and I would like to have a copy of it so I can have a chance to review it and respond. Thank you.
Or not getting an agenda, that would be my decision.
I didn't say it was part of it.
I'm just saying, so, that, I have a reason for my.
Doug from Elman, I wasn't even gonna plan on speaking until the last issue was brought up. One of the questions I have for you, it's been a topic for quite a few meetings. And I don't know if you guys resolved it or if it got taken care of, but with the credit card use, make sure these people have credit cards. I haven't ever heard if you guys resolved that thing. I noticed a couple comments about cards, just kind of curious to know. The other thing is I think Rose did a great job for what she presented you guys. Questions that she had that she didn't understand or questions that wasn't properly taken care of. I feel she's doing a really good job. I'm trying to keep an eye on what's going on so she can understand it also, being a board member. You know, and I think I told you guys this quite a while ago, how important it is to make right decisions of you guys being up there. Because the decisions that you guys are making, if you got a 3-year term, 2-year term, whatever, you're putting that burden on the next people that's gonna be sitting in your seat. It's really important that you really consider the things that you're making that's gonna happen in the community. And then the other question I have with the senior citizens thing, I think I propose Don Edwards being involved with anything. I have to watch him being involved with it up here, you know, I wasn't impressed with him at all. So that's what I have to say. Thank you very much.
Public comment? I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
After.
No.